Hi everyone and welcome to PsyQ. Now this is a very special edition of PsyQ. We're here to talk politics with Sam Seder, another TYT partner and host of the Majority Report. How are you going, Sam?
I'm doing well. Thanks. It's fun. It's fun to be here.
Now I want to talk about Donald Trump, of course. He's on everyone's lips. This graph came out recently from PolitiFact. It was interesting when I saw this because Donald Trump wasn't listed as the biggest liar, but he was up the top. He was second biggest. And as I looked at this graph, I realized that lying was positively correlated to success when it comes to the GOP. It's the opposite in the Democrats, where the people who are doing the best are the ones that were telling the truth, roughly speaking. Bernie and Hillary there basically equal.
Right.
But when it comes to the GOP, it seems like the more you lie, the better you do. Donald Trump's up there, Ted Cruz, and then Ben Carson, who was leading the polls for a while. Why do you think that when you're not telling the truth, when running for the biggest job in the land, that you do better in the polls?
I mean, frankly, I think it's been like a 40-year project where conservative Republicans, the base of the Republican Party, essentially, has been trained to hear only what they want to hear. And what they want to hear is that government is not necessary, that nothing is nuanced or complicated, that we're under siege by some other, and that's mutated who the other is. Gay people, black people, Mexicans, Muslims. And so when you have an audience that has such sort of narrow parameters for what they want to hear, if you are smart or just simply a pathological liar, you start lying to them and simplify everything and tell them what they want to hear, and they reward you for it. And so that's what happened with Donald Trump. And he's just a very good liar. And, I mean, I think you know this as well as anybody. They've done studies where they show that really the vocabulary that Donald Trump uses is appropriate for like 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
And so, it has that level of sophistication and nuance and complexity. And so lying is just, much easier to do when you're talking to a 3-year-old.
Back to Donald Trump, there was an interesting study that was profiled in the Harvard Business Journal, and it said that Donald Trump is behaving like a narcissist. And it's different between a narcissist and someone that's just very politically savvy, because a politically savvy person is happy to lie, but they know that they're lying. Whereas a narcissist lies and doesn't know they're lying. They think everything they say is true and everyone that disagrees with them is an idiot. But that is positively correlated to success. And why do you think people are interested in Donald Trump, and why do you think people like him and like the fact that he's a narcissist?
Well, I mean, I think, look, the vast majority of people who respond well to him are in the Republican Party. I mean, I am sure there's people outside of the Republican Party who appreciate him, but certainly the vast majority of people are in that party. And I think part of it is stuff that we have talked about, but I think a lot of it has to correlate with a sort of an authoritarian streak amongst these people. They want a leader that they can trust. And when he speaks as if he is right, that sends a cue to them that he's right. And they so desperately want that, they're not going to question him. And you also have to remember, too, that within the Republican Party, putting aside the sort of psychological issues, the Republican Party has taught people for a long time that if you are poor and you are getting help from the government, and the fact is we all are in some form, whether it's our mortgage interest deduction or, exactly. But if you're getting free lunch at school and you're a kid, there's something morally reprehensible about you. You're a taker. And the flip side of that, of course, is if you're a billionaire, you're morally righteous. And so this is the Republican leader, right? Is this morally righteous guy? I mean, when Donald Trump came on the scene, I have to say that, I said on my program, the Majority Report, and I said that first night on MSNBC, this guy's going to clean up because he's going to go on that debate stage and the rest of the guys are going to say something. And the subtext of all of it is, I'm a billionaire. You've been talking about CEO presidents and that the business of America is business. Who are you to tell me anything? And in addition to them not disagreeing fundamentally on policy, that played out pretty strongly. I mean, Jeb Bush immediately sort of cowed to this guy, and the rest is a very, very sad history.
Now, thank you so much for coming onto PsyQ and delving into the psychology behind Donald Trump and behind his supporters. If people want to hear more politics from Sam Seder, where can they go?
Every day we do the Majority Report live on YouTube at youtube.com/Sam Seder. If you like it as an audio podcast, check us out. We're on all the, the iTunes and everywhere else. It's the Majority Report, or you can go to majority.fm.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
This has been PsyQ.
Hi everyone, I'm Jayde Lovell, resident science nerd on the Young Turks Network. You're watching PsyQ and we know you don't want to miss an episode, so please click the subscribe button down below.